Nice.
But you always gotta remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I was gonna ask you, Madison, if the recording was on. I didn't see it, but I didn't want to interrupt. All
Go
right.
ahead, Juan. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm a high school teacher at Randolph. I live on 149th and Convent, and I've been in Harlem since 1993. And, I'm very interested in this, committee because, there's a lot of good changes we can make from these, from both these three documents. It looks very promising. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. Michael?
Yeah, my name is Michael. I go to Columbia Law School. I'm in my last year and I'm interested in public interest, government work, and I'm looking forward to help.
Thank you so much. Felipe?
Hi, everybody. I'm Felipe Castillo. I've lived in Harlem since 2008. I'm originally from South America, and I live on Common Avenue.
Right, so, Chris Johnson, apparently you and I are neighbors. I did not know this until about 5 minutes ago, down the block from me. A CB9 member, and I was here yesterday, so I feel like I'm repeating this. Yes.
Okay. Alyssa, you wanna?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Alyssa. I'm with the committee and I'm interested in this committee because I want to help shape my policies. I don't want to let everything.
Okay, thank you, Alyssa. And I'm Solomon Prophet. I grew up on LaSalle Street. I went to Columbia Engineering School and I live on 137th and Riverside now. Just trying to make this area and district better. So that's my motivation for being in this committee. And hopefully we can make an impact. Madison, is our part of our district office.
Hi, my name is Madison Ayala. I'm the community associate here, but sadly, tomorrow is my last day as community associate for CB9 actually. So going forward, reach out to my colleague Hakil, he's great, and he'll probably be here, to step in for me, but with the ones who I was here with before, it was great to be with y'all. I won't be too far, but I'll be going to New York City Department for the Aging, so.
Oh, DIPTA, you're going to DIPTA downtown or?
Yeah, downtown.
Okay.
So I'll be government affairs officer there for Manhattan, and yeah, so I'll probably still be tuning in, but I won't be here anymore.
Awesome.
Well, Madison, I want to say we thank you for everything you've done for us, and it was a pleasure working with you. And wish you the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, very sad news.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not leaving, you're just going to another field, so to
yeah,
speak.
another
Yeah,
agency.
Another agency.
Yep, that's right, Madison. You missed the emojis of me crying, but we only wish you well. And it's
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure working with you for sure.
Thank you, Monique. Thank you all.
Yeah. Oh, and Francesca, I'm sorry I didn't give you a chance to introduce yourself, but if you
Oh,
want.
it's okay. I'm Francesca. Yeah, I've lived in Harlem since 2013 and happy to be here, see what you guys are up to.
Great. Am I pronouncing that your name right, Anaya? And
Hi, yes, it's Ananya.
Ananya, sorry about that.
No, that's not an issue. Are we just introducing ourselves?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I actually live on 150th and I'm a current Columbia student right now at the Columbia Journalism School. And I live on 150th right by Riverside Park as well, but I'm just going to a bunch of community board meetings throughout Harlem just to understand the community more, the area more, just in case in the future I do some reporting on it and write about the issues that matter most. So yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. I will let our visitors give their updates. It doesn't look like we have anyone from the 26th precinct today. I know the 30th precinct told me they wouldn't be able to attend because I think they have their council meeting tonight. And so PSA 6, you guys are up. If you could share any updates you have. I know it's been a couple months since we've heard from you. So feel free to update us on what's new.
Okay, first, congratulations, Madison. Best
Thank you.
wishes. You're gonna do great.
Thank you so much.
I have the numbers for the 28-day period. So we have 1 robbery in the grant houses. We have, the details for the robbery are as follows. We have 2 Amazon workers who were delivering packages, and they were robbed by unknown perpetrators, and both slashed in the arm. One guy's injuries was more serious than the other, so he had to get stitches. And that happened in the grant houses. Then we had 7 assaults, all in the grant houses, all DV related. So when it comes to domestic violence, we don't speak on those incidents that took place since they're highly sensitive. We had 2 burglaries, 1 in Grant, 1 in Manhattanville. The details for the burglaries are missing tools from one of the storage rooms, from one of the NYCHA buildings. And then the other one was DV related, so we can't speak on that one. And we took 1 grand larceny in the grant houses. The details for that. So, a young lady said she invited someone to stay over with her, and a diamond pendant and chain worth $4,500 ended up missing. She stepped out, she left the person in her apartment, and her chain ended up missing. She said the perp left the next day. She asked, if you know where my items are, and person was just in the wind, said they didn't know what she was talking about. So we took that as a grand larceny for the 28-day period. We're actually down in crimes for the 28-day, which is a good thing. We didn't take any shootings in the area. Definitely a good thing. That's all we have for the numbers as far as the 28-day period. As far as our explorers, we're still looking for young people. The program is really flourishing. This summer, they did a lot of amazing things. We had one of our explorers go to the academy. So she was able to complete the academy. So it's awesome that we have a success story. We're hoping to have much more. I could say that this summer the kids were really, really active. They went canoeing. They did a whole bunch of exciting things just to expose them. And so we're looking to increase our numbers. So if you guys know any young people, 14 to 20, and they're interested in the program, please send them the PSA 6. We would love to have them. And I think that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh,
My
yeah.
sister did Explorers when she was younger, and she really enjoyed
Oh my
it.
God, it's so cool. I even go to the events. I'm like, don't forget me.
Does anyone have any questions for Officer Wilburn or Jan? Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Officer Wilburn, are we tracking traffic violence, deaths or injuries?
No, we don't.
Yeah, okay.
Traffic stat.
Like crashes, like if anybody, like,
Um,
28 days.
It is a unit that does it, but we don't do it. I guess that would be tracked if it happened on the NYCHA grounds or in and around the NYCHA facility, then we would have that, but maybe the 2-6 precinct would be able to give you more details on that.
That's a good question.
Traffic
why-
safety unit maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a question.
Yeah, so I ask it because, you're
e-bikes?
you're reporting about gun violence,
Like e-bikes or things of that nature.
So, no, not e-bikes necessarily, mainly motor vehicles that run over people or crash into each other.
Oh yeah, that would be the 2-6 precinct.
Yeah, traffic fatalities,
No truck.
if we're talking about shooting deaths. We're talking about lots of I'm just wondering if we're talking about that as well. Because that does happen in our district.
Yeah.
Question.
That is a good question. Yeah, well, we can close that quickly. 2-6 and 3-0. Okay, anything else for Officer Wilborn or Officer Etienne? I know you guys were working with other divisions within the NYPD in Manhattan North on confiscating the illegal mopeds, motor scooters. Are you guys still doing that?
Sorry about that, yeah. Yeah, so we're still doing it. We do have some of our units still doing operations. Actually on our way back to the precincts from something we're doing the 2-4. We actually had someone literally right behind us getting their vehicle taken for unregistered. So they're still working on that. For the most part, it has decreased because through previous meetings and minutes, we had advised that there was actually a group on mopeds that were committing like chain robberies, phone snatching, like literally most of these crimes that we were hearing like in the 90s, they started doing. So the residents paid attention. Our units definitely went out there doing enforcement. So the numbers have definitely gone down.
Great, thank you. Monique, I see you have a question.
Yes, Solomon, thank you. I wanted to follow up on the question you asked about the illegal mopeds. I wanted to also find out, is there any sort of enforcement being done in terms of the mopeds when they're riding, especially on the sidewalk at full throttle and, putting pedestrians on the sidewalk, in danger of being hit? That was one question I had. And also another quick one. Were you guys involved in the book back to school book drive last week? I'm trying to see if your faces looked familiar.
Most likely that was the 2-6 event because we had ours in the polo rounds. So
Oh, okay.
anywhere in that area, that would be the 2-6 precincts.
Okay, everybody's blurring together. These events are so great. That's why I just wanted to say it's great that they're happening in our community.
Yeah.
With that said, the question about the mopeds.
Yeah, so the mopeds, yeah, we are pulling over people, giving them summonses, sometimes requisitioning the mopeds if the paperwork's not in order. It is kind of hard sometimes because some people are working within their job parameters, whether it's service industry or I would explain it, people like, do couriers, like deliver things. So a lot of times we try to give them a little courtesy because, they are trying to make a way of life. But if it's a thing that's very common, we're getting complaints, it's a certain area, or if anyone could tell us for sure, like anything, markings, or this person always does it, then we put extra attention to them. But yes, we are aware that issues like this do happen and they do result in either arrests or summonses.
Got it. Yeah, I'm not trying to suggest we want to infringe on anybody's livelihood. We don't, because people have to work. My concern though is the safety of people walking and possibly being hit, especially if you're a senior and walking on the sidewalks. These mopeds are riding on the sidewalks at full speed practically, so it makes it dangerous.
Of course.
I'm glad that you guys are aware, and anything you can do to just try to help curb the intention of riding in such a way is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, can I sort of, do you mind if I blend into that?
Sure.
So, Monique, sort of to dovetail into your issue and kind of into yours also, what about the number of, how do we track e-bike related incidents where we see the e-bike guys flying through intersections and collisions, one? And then number two, I think even in the historic district where you live and I live, we seem to have a lot of ghost plates, paper plates. And there's every indication that some of those are related to a group that is exporting cars. And this has been an ongoing issue. So they park in the historic district. They're impossible to ticket because they cover their VIN number and they use a paper plate. But on a particular day that we can't predict, miraculously, the cars disappear. And then in about a week, we're flooded again with paper plate cars or they seem to be Pennsylvania plates, but it looks like it's cars that are being exported, that's my understanding. To DR and Africa.
Yeah, so I mean, that happens for the most part. Most precincts on a precinct level have done what we call paper plate operations. For the most part, the city agencies took over. I don't know if you ever see every now and then. Your mic. Every now and then, if you go on like the major highways, it's on. Oh, my fault. If you see the major highways and the bridges, you might see TBTA, our highway, state trooper, and many agencies, and they do ghost car operations where they're taking anyone who has a paper plate or any type of fraudulent. So that has gone actually above our head. If the person who's, driving a car or a moped with a ghost plate commits an infraction in front of us, that gives us probable cause to go to them. But if there's nothing else, out of the ordinary with their paper plate, just having a paper plate is not enough for us to say like, hey, that's a ghost car. You understand what I'm saying? So unless that person's dipping out of traffic or doing something, out of the ordinary, us just seeing them in the street is not enough for us to just, hey, let me investigate what's going on here. But I know citywide with all the city agencies, the sheriffs, state troopers, they're doing their own little initiative in regards to that, bigger than us.
Juan, did you have a comment or question?
Yeah, I had a concern, about, does the 26 patrol the Riverside area, above 145th around Riverbank?
It's a 30.
It's a 30th precinct.
That's the 30th, so that's not.
So that's not them. They're primarily housing.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Right, sorry about that, guys.
I mean, just for clarity purposes, the 30 pretty much is 133 up. So.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay.
In terms of the mopeds being tracked, they might write it on the port that a moped is involved, but I don't think they separate mopeds from any type of automobile accident. So when they do things like our Comstat or any type of stat meeting downtown, you could find the information in regards to the vehicle involved fatalities or accidents.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Anything else? Any other comments, questions? Okay, Officer Wilborn, Officer Etienne, thank you so much. I know you guys are busy, so we'll let you go. But
You're most
appreciate,
welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Next, so sometimes we'll have the transit division on here, but they're not on today. And next we have DOT, Lyle. You're up.
Evening again, everyone. Lyle back from DOT. Just a few quick updates to pass along. First, in regards to our milling and resurfacing schedule, I'm sure that you'll have seen our crews in and around Northern Manhattan for the past couple of weeks, milling and resurfacing around the neighborhood. We are currently in CB9. I've been doing some repaving this week and last week. I think we're going to be still in CB9 again next week. When the schedule comes out for next week, which I think should be tomorrow, I'll pass it along to the office just so that everyone is aware of where our crews are going to be next week, just in case anyone needs to make any alternate plans or just plan accordingly. Second, I know this was something that was mentioned at previous meetings last, I guess, from June past. I know that there have been some conversations about the corridor of St. Nicholas Avenue, pretty much between say 141st, 147th streets, around 145th, TD3 area. Just wanted to let the committee know, if you weren't already aware, I'm in the process of scheduling walkthrough through that area. Hopefully to take place sometime in the next few weeks with a couple of different stakeholders, just to kind of have a conversation on site about some of the issues that have come up at these meetings, parking, curbside regulations, and other issues. and hopefully we can, have these conversations on site, with the relevant stakeholders and see if there's anything we can do either from a DOT perspective or, just kind of, hear what everyone has to say and just try to figure out some potential solutions for the area. So I'm going to keep you posted on that. Ideally, I'm trying to reach out to the 30th precinct, CD3, the community board absolutely is a part of this conversation. One or two of the schools in the area, I know that's in their location for a couple of schools, and some of the local residents have mentioned something at meetings in the past. So ideally, aiming for sometime in the next couple of weeks, just kind of waiting for the weather to get a little bit better and everybody's schedules to kind of match. But I'll definitely keep you all posted as far as some dates and times where we can at least explore this area and see if we can come up with any solutions or at least have a conversation to kind of move things forward here. And last, Victor had reached out to me earlier today in regards to a letter that DOT had sent over to CB9 in regards to an application that Columbia University sent to DOT about the usage of MTA bus stops currently in CBs 9, 10, and 12 for their shuttle buses. We sent a list over to the community board of the proposed locations that Columbia was thinking of as far as bus stops. And according to the letter, it looks like these shuttle buses are run by Academy bus lines and would be pretty much for the transportation of Columbia students pretty much all throughout North Manhattan. I think from the campuses. So again, it's in CBs 9, 10, and 12. Where they sent applications. Letters have gone to all 3 community boards for their review. I would say if the community board has any questions or concerns regarding the application or the locations that have been proposed, I would say might be a good idea to reach out to Columbia to see if they can attend the general meeting to have a conversation about their proposal and to state their case if necessary. But on the letter, I think we're just pretty much waiting for a response from CB9. And I think we give a 45-day window. So in this instance, it should be, I think, September 29th. They're waiting for comments, if any, or feedback from the community board. But just wanted to put that on your radar since Richard reached out earlier today. And I sent over a copy of the letter as well as the map of proposed locations in all 3 community boards. So if you all want to review as a committee, it should be available either through Yutha or through Solomon or Carol or Victor, one of those 4. And I think that's it for me, unless anyone has any questions.
Yeah, so Lyle, this is Chris. I have like a few questions. Number one, so Victor met with, I forget his title, but Stevenson from Manhattan North. So during the Build-A-Block meeting last week, and I think Jay, there's some resolution that's out there that there will be a committee formed, a task force. Do you happen to know, Lyle, if Jay is part of that task force that you're speaking of as a stakeholder when you have this meeting coming up?
No, I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Do you know what the task force is in regards to by any chance, or?
It's relating to 145th and St. Nicholas. She lives at 695 St. Nicholas.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. She was one of the people I was referring to. I mentioned local residents. She's definitely reached out to me as issues here. So she and I have been in contact. She also suggested to wait until the fall was pretty much underway to kind of get something on the calendar. So she's definitely someone that I want and hope can attend the site visit. But yeah, she's definitely on the list of local residents that I've been speaking with. So hopefully she'll be able to attend, and I'm going to try to see if I can work with her schedule.
So the next thing is a question. A property owner on 145th Street between Convent and Amsterdam reached out to me. Following the repaving of 145th Street, it changed the flow of rainwater that came down 145th. He just spent $8,000 to have the curb cut modified because the building next to him claimed that after the repaving, the water hit his driveway and was now going into their basement. How would that be approached? Should have gone to DOT instead of him having his curb recut to the driveway?
What he could do, I don't know if he's received any violations from us. Usually if there are any issues with the sidewalks, we would issue a notice of violation to the property owner. I can leave my email in the chat if anything. If you're the resident can send me information, I can forward that to my colleagues in our sidewalk inspection and management division for their review, and they can follow up with residents in regards to any issues or concerns. And if he has any pictures, all the better. I can forward those to my colleagues as well, if that's possible.
Brilliant, thank you.
No problem.
Yes, Juan has a question. Go ahead.
I'm new to, the committee, Mr. Blackwood.
Blackwood, yeah.
Yeah, there is a very nice venue on 151st, by the bridge. It's called, Getaway 151. The person who got the lease has been doing a lot of beautiful things for the community, bringing music and whatnot, and people can hang out and spend time there, and is very open to anybody. Even kids hang out there and hear music. And he's spending a lot of time and money on fixing pretty much the infrastructure around there. I find it very curious how we have spent tons of time and effort on that whole area around 155th and Riverside, but we cannot extend that to his area where he's actually running a business and he has massive amounts of leaks from the pavement on Riverside. There are holes in complete peeling off, whatnot, and after many after much research, he found out that DOT has jurisdiction over all of that area. But he's doing it on his own. It's very sad to see that because we have reached out
So,
to a lot of people. So I would like to know.
Juan, are you talking about the arcade? The space underneath the street on the lower level?
I think you are.
Right, so the
Is that
arcade,
the-
yeah,
It's like
that's the
that
arcade.
art space.
Yeah, it's
that-
coming under,
So
It's called Gateway 151. That's what I know.
yeah, I think that's the
And-
arcade.
I wanna know if something is being done to help that person to repair that area.
have you heard about that at all, Lyle?
If I think I know what he's referring to, I know that a few of my colleagues have been in contact with the person in question. I think he was notified that that's actually Park's property. That's on the Riverside Park side of the street, correct?
Yeah, so I'm also on Parks, so we came up last night during Parks. So it's being addressed under Parks.
Okay.
Juan, yeah, but it's the arcade and, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Lyle, and thank you,
Thank you,
Juan, for
Lyle.
bringing it up. Monique, I see you have a question.
Yes, thank you, Solomon. Lau, good evening. Quick question. On 145th Street, going in the area in front of Dunkin' Donuts, there used to be some type of divider or demarcation item where cars would be guided when they're turning on 145th, because that intersection has cars coming from 4 different directions. It can get a little crazy if people don't yield. And it looked like whatever work was done in terms of repaving 145th, barrier was not put back down on the ground. So it's off, in fact, to the side on the sidewalk. It wasn't put back down, and I'm assuming that's a DOT matter. I don't know if by me saying it, if it makes sense, but I'll see if I could try to take a picture. But it was there not too long ago, and then it was ripped up, I guess, when the street got paved, and it wasn't put back down.
Okay. Um, if you have any pictures of the location in question, I can definitely follow up with my colleagues. Are you referring to, I guess, the flexible bollards that were, I guess, were kind of in the middle of
Well,
this?
I guess it should have flexible items sticking up. It never did. It was just
Okay.
something that was laid down on the ground. It was yellow and black, and I was clearly there to help keep cars,
Uh,
but for proper flow, and it wasn't put back down again. And it's been like that for a while.
okay, maybe there might be rubber speed bumps that might be in that area, just kind of to help, as you were saying, kind of like guide traffic as cars are turning.
Yes,
If you have, like I said, if you have any pictures you can send over, I guess I'll leave my information in the chat. You
right.
can send those to me. I'll also follow up on my end, in the meantime, just to see if I can kind of do any research and digging to see if there are any items that are DOT related in that intersection. I'm assuming that's by 145th and St. Nick, right? In that area, like the Dunkin'
Right,
Donuts
right,
area.
right.
Yeah.
Dunkin',
Okay.
yeah, because that's where they were, and that's the corner where cars start turning onto 145th
Yeah.
or turning
Yeah.
off, and something was placed there. We know that's a very hot intersection.
Very, very well used. Yeah. So,
Yes, yes,
um,
yes.
I,
So,
I, I,
yeah.
yeah, I can definitely take a look and see if there's any information I can dig up. And like I said, yeah, any pictures you can send over, that will definitely help try to figure out what that is, and I can get back to you. I'll leave my email on the chat now if I can
Okay,
do.
very good. And one more quick thing. I noticed
Yeah.
there's a light that's out. So should I take a picture and send it to you? Because
Sure.
particularly on my block, because we have a lot of old trees, and when
Uh,
the light is out, it's like going through a cave almost because
uh,
it's dark.
what block are you on?
I'm on 146 off of Convent, between Convent and St. Nicholas. The light looks like
Okay.
it's off near St. Nicholas.
Okay, so closer to St. Nick. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, if you can send me an email, I can essentially create a case on your behalf for our streetlight division to follow up. In a lot of instances where there are streets that are tree lined with a lot of heavy foliage on the branches, we suggest also reaching out to the Parks Department in order to do some trimming of the area. A lot of times what ends up happening is that the trees might be overgrown and might be blocking some of the light that's filtering from the street lights. So one thing that we suggest is reach out to parks to do some tree trimming in order to see if some of that light can get filtered out, especially as it's getting darker and light savings will probably kick in, will kick in the
Right.
next couple of weeks. Now is around the time we started to hear stuff, like this as far as street light outages. And on a street like yours, yeah, where it's pretty tree laden, that might be a good idea just to kind of get parks involved, just so they can, trim the area to let some more light filter through on that street.
Okay, well, yes, I'll do both. I think though the issue is the lights out.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I guess so we could definitely take a look at the lights in the meantime, just to make sure that everything's on the up and up. Like I said, I'll leave my email in the chat in a minute or two, so you can reach out to me and we can follow up offline.
Very good. Thank you so much, Lau.
No problem.
This is Chris. Can I just chime in on just two things, and probably we can do this by email? The senior center at Hamilton Grange, Common Avenue Baptist Church, is that parking issue. They're not able to get the ADA buses to come into the curb. And that's one. And the other thing is the lights, street lights are not working or not operable around Johnny Hartman Plaza between 143rd and 145th Street in Amsterdam. But if you give me your email, I'll send you the pictures. I think NYPD would have a huge interest in those lights working. And this has been going on for almost a year now.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, if you can send me an email, I can definitely send that as well.
Yeah.
As far as my division. and see if we can get somebody out there ASAP to take a look at that location. No problem.
Yeah, so I know the DOT guys, tech guys have been out, but I'm not sure what the issue is, but anyway.
Yeah, I was just going to cut you off. As far as the senior center, I'm not sure if that might be an enforcement thing. I don't know if they have any signage by the senior center, like say loading zone signage, whether it be say no standing or that sort of thing. By
They
the
have yeah, they have no, it's a no standing, but it really needs to be something more like handicapped, and possibly what I think it might require is a site visit, but anyway, I think this is probably better as an offline conversation to spare everyone the machinations and discussion. But so I'll grab your email and send you pictures.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, we can talk offline if necessary. No problem.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lyle. So Lyle mentioned the Academy bus proposal that Columbia sent to DOT. We just got it today. I will be sending it out to all the committee members so you guys can review the document, and there's a map. It's pretty much an extension of the Columbia shuttle service that they run. So they're asking for feedback and input from the community board. So you know, I'll try to send that out later tonight, and I'll put Lyle's information on the email. So if you need to, you can give him the feedback.
So Solomon, what is the ask?
The ask is to use the MTA
Bus stops. Okay, like what they do at 145th Street, they pull into the bus stop.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and the expectation is, I think they're gonna be running them from about 7 in the morning to about midnight. And the shuttles run anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes, and for the most part, Columbia students use them to commute from the various campus locations. Anything else to add there, Lyle?
You pretty much summed it up. I think it's from 7 to 12:30. I think the letter said. Actually, I can see real quick. If you give me a second, I have a copy of the letter. And it has a couple of bullet points, just points of information. It looks like, according to the letter, the pickups and drop-offs will be from Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 12:35 a.m. There'll be 10 buses running approximately one trip every 20 to 30 minutes during peak hours and 1 hour during non-peak hours. And I think I mentioned before, Academy Express is the provider for shuttle bus service for Columbia. So essentially, they've reached out to DOT, basically, asking us if the community board would be on board with essentially sharing some existing MTA bus stops in CB9 and other CVs for them to utilize, pick up and drop off the students pretty much on North Manhattan. So the list of locations is also in the letter that Solomon has, and you can just go over it on your end. And like I said, it might be a good idea just to reach out to Columbia, if you have any questions or concerns. I know that Victor had 1 or 2 concerns. Might be a good idea just to see if they can attend the general meeting, just to go into more detail about the application and what their intentions are.
Okay. Yeah, I know there was a initiative to allow some of the seniors in the district to ride the Columbia shuttle service free of charge. I don't know how, I think it went into play, but I don't know how advertised that is. So that's something we probably want to talk to Columbia about.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think in previous conversations, I think that they had basically made a concession to, add seniors to that. I'm not sure exactly where the conversation went either yet, but it might be a good idea to have to touch base with Columbia about that too. But I do recall something like that being mentioned in the past when they've done previous applications.
And Lyle, one question I had for you about that is, if they start, if they do pickups and drop-offs at these MTA bus locations. Is Columbia responsible to put any signage, or is that something DOT would do? Just-
Usually, well, yeah, DOT, so when it comes to bus stops signage, and bus stops in general, DOT works with MTA in order to determine where the bus stops are, more so MTA than DOT. As far as the signage, official signage, at bus stops, DOT handles the signage. I think that Columbia would be responsible for the signage in this instance. I'll go back and clarify and check with my colleagues in our bus stop management division. I think the onus would be on Columbia to add signage to the requested bus stops, but I'll see if I can get some clarification on that and get back to you in the next couple of days. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I think it's on them, but I'll clarify it for you and we'll be in touch.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
So, hey, Lyle, and this is Chris again. So on Common Avenue, there are now 3 speed bumps between 135th and 145th. I advocated for one of them. I advocated for the first one. I think it's had a huge impact. And I supported City College for the newer 2. From your point of view, from your side, have you heard any feedback in terms of the speed bumps and have they been effective? Issues, complaints?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we installed the 2 new ones on Convent a few weeks ago.
Right.
At the college's request. So far so good as far as the installations. I haven't heard any negative feedback about the speed bumps being installed. We get a lot of requests for speed bumps around the city. And there are certain criteria that you have to meet as far as just speed rates that cars on a given block would be able to run in order for a certain speed to qualify, among other things. But so far so good, at least as far as the installation of those 2 new ones. They seem to be working, and yeah, we haven't heard anything, no negative feedback. Everybody
Right.
pretty much, has likes when we put speed bumps, and trust me, I wish we could put them everywhere. It does take a little while in order for our speed bump division to go through applications. There is citywide division, so we get a ton of applications and requests all throughout the year. So it does take a little while for us to kind of sift through and to do the research. But usually, yeah, most people are happy with the speed bumps when we do put them in, and in this instance, it seems no different. So far, so good, at least, from what I understand with these bumps. So, fingers crossed that continues.
Just as a comment though, the speed bump, the first speed bump, I did under Citizens Committee, under Build a Block. I think it's called Build a Block, whatever the initiative is, and it gets expedited. And surprisingly, it happened, but it takes about 2 years. But there's something to be said about that process. It works.
Yeah, don't get discouraged if you don't hear from us for a while when requesting speed bumps in certain locations. Like I said, yeah, it's about a year, give or take, on average, that it takes for a study to get done. Sometimes longer, depending on the list of requests. But you can always reach out to us, for any updates or feedback. And once we get that from my colleagues, we'll definitely pass it along to you as information comes in.
Okay, great, thank you, Lyle. Anyone else? Questions, comments for Lyle? Okay, thank you again for all the info, Lyle, and thank you for joining the meeting.
No problem. Thank you. Congrats to Madison again. Best of luck to you at DIPTA, and you will be missed.
She had to step out for a second, but I will let her know.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so next we usually move to action items, or if there were any other presentations or updates. From time to time, sanitation will join us, or the fire department will join us, or a different city agency. But I think that's all we have for presentation and updates tonight. When it comes to new liquor license applications, just to kind of go over how it typically is done. Usually, when a new liquor license is, an application is filled out, they usually go to the district office. The district office will have them fill out a questionnaire. This questionnaire is then given to us along with the application. You know, we look into the location. We ask either the 26th or the 30th precinct if they have any, information about the location or about the site. We typically will ask new applicants to come before us and just introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about their establishment, about the business. You can see here on the agenda, we had one, it says Somerville Enterprises, aka Morningside Cafe. They came to us in May. And so they're a concession kind of location in Morningside Park. So they came before us, they kind of explained what they're going to be doing. It's actually being run by a firefighter. He's taking up this venture. And they're, you know, so they're intending to open that up. And I think they're going to be, their intention was to serve beer and food and stuff like that in Morningside Park.
So I can just chime in all right, because this came up in the committee meeting last night. So apparently there are some structural issues. And right now, it does not look as though they will be open until next year. So there's a leak, something to do with electrical issues and a bunch of other things. Unfortunately, yeah.
So can I make a motion to go to the draft resolutions and then come back to liquor licenses?
Sure. We're not gonna go through them
Okay, good.
because we're still waiting on feedback from the precincts.
Okay,
But I just wanted to make sure the committee knew
That we knew.
the process.
Yeah.
When it comes to renewals, they, you know, they have to be done every year. And typically what will happen is an establishment will let us know if there's any modification that needs to be done, or they're just renewing kind of as is. Typically, what we do there is we look to see if they have any violations, any open violations, any violations with SLA, any noise complaints or complaints with the NYPD. We usually will talk to the 26th precinct and 30th precinct about each location. And if there are issues, then we recommend that the state not renew the license. In most cases, we do, renewals usually go through as long as there are no issues. But, you know, from my 2 years being on this committee, from time to time, we do reject renewals when there have been some issues. A lot of times it's establishments not being considerate of the neighbors in the community. So that's usually what's taking place, or there's some outstanding DOB violations or fines that haven't been paid, stuff with taxation and finance, that kind of. So yeah, we're not gonna go through the whole list, but I just wanted to make sure you guys were familiar with the process. So we're gonna go over the draft resolutions. I don't have share rights right now because Madison is gone. Let me see if I can give it to myself here. Let's see if I can.
Can I make a motion to talk about daylighting first?
Sure,
Because we have somebody in the, from the community that wants to make a statement.
Of
and wants
course.
to leave.
Oh.
Oh, Helen,
Oh, yeah.
I guess you would be from the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
daylighting is removed.
okay.
No, it's great.
Sorry, I'm just trying, okay. All right, Francesca, you wanna talk about daylighting and maybe you can, maybe not everyone on the call knows what daylighting is. Hopefully everyone got a chance to read the resolution. But yeah, the floor is yours.
I mean, I learned what daylighting is through Felipe. So I'm newly acquainted with that term. But my understanding of it is like extending, is it like holdouts or like, is it the same thing?
It's shortening the crosswalk.
Yeah, shortening the crosswalk so that it's safer for pedestrians to walk. But my understanding is also, I mean, like a way, an example in which I think daylighting could be useful. Is for instance, like there's an intersection on Convent and 144 that I walk through every day to come and go from my apartment. And I can't, because of the cars that are parked along Convent Avenue, they're parked so closely to the intersection that I can't actually see when I go to make that cross across Convent. If cars are coming. And so I just, yeah, it just feels dangerous. And so I try to.
Can I add to that, Francesca?
Yeah, please.
So, there's been much research about these issues, and the time that you remove those cars from that area and the crosswalk, you minimize first of all, accidents,
Yeah.
but also pedestrians getting hit by cars. I bike, so my world is through a very different perspective as a car than a car. So when I'm on anywhere on Convent, you cannot see. You cannot see. You have to look through the car to see who is coming, either crossing west or east. And it's very dangerous because even if I go slow, I still can't see them until I get to the corner. And a lot of people use big cars nowadays, right? SUVs are safe. I would buy an SUV if I wanted to. But I think that would minimize a lot of problems on Convent. But in addition to that, it will make it safe for people to see the other side. And if we can start that, more people will see it. And other cities are doing it. I mean, if you go to Barcelona, they do a really good job on how to allow parking, but also allow people to walk and allow people to cross, you know? And they minimize accidents throughout. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. I learned, you know, the chair had asked me to kind of look into daylighting. When I first started researching it, I wanted to see what was being done in New York, just the state. And
It's New York State law.
it's a New York State law, except for New York City. Which seemed a bit odd, right? We have the most densest population, the most bikes and cars and people all over, right? It just seems counterintuitive, but I was surprised about that. So anyway, I put this resolution together. I know I sent it out to the committee. You know, we can, the next step, I actually had this since, I think it was May. Yeah, we've had it for a while, but we've never been able to vote on it because we didn't have enough people in quorum. So we can vote on it tonight, or if you think we should.
I vote yes.
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Motion to adopt the.
Adopt the resolution as written.
Okay, did anyone have any? You object? Okay. Anyone else? And
I'm sorry, and who?
that's Alyssa.
Alyssa and,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
I don't see her on the list as a committee member.
She's there, yeah,
Where are you? Like her name?
in the, where are you looking? Sorry.
East.
Oh, she's the last, I'll talk to you about that
Okay.
later, yeah. So, yeah, she's there, so that's fine, so so you wanna vote?
Yes.
We'll vote then.
Yeah.
Usually when we have a resolution, someone will call to adopt it like you did.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if anyone objects, then we have to vote on it, right?
Okay.
But we, you know,
I need to-
based on the
Roll call.
members here, so the roll call. So typically, I would do that, but since it's just me today leading the meetings, maybe someone else can do it. And just take the vote. So any volunteers?
Yeah, I can take the
Can do
vote.
it, okay.
Yeah. So, April Adams,
She's out, she's excused, she's traveling, next,
Felipe Castillo, I vote to adopt the resolution as written.
okay, so you're in favor,
In favor,
all right,
Juan Colmenares.
Yes.
One votes yes.
Gretchen Connolly. Absent.
She's not here.
Okay, Miguel Iglesias? Yes. Yes, great. Chris Johnson?
Yes.
Theodore Ted Gogolet?
He's not here.
Not here. Georgette Morgan Thomas?
Not here.
Okay, Solomon Prophet?
I vote yes.
Okay, Carolyn Thompson?
She's excused.
Okay, and,
Alyssa.
Alyssa? Abstain.
Okay.
Okay, so I got. 6 in favor, 1 abstention.
Okay. Thank you. All right, the next resolution. We want to keep going. Hold on. I gotta find it.
It's nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you too, Francesca.
When she gets her win, then she leaves. What nonsense is this? She came into the vote and she leaves. That's how it works.
It's gonna be a hard sell if we get her in on the board.
1 second, I'm sorry. Just trying to find them.
You want me to tell you the date of that email?
No, I'm just trying to, I'm just, trying to pull it up. So I have it, it's just, I think there was a little issue with the internet, but I think we're okay now. All right, so let me go back to sharing. Okay, so this resolution has to do with insurance and registration requirements for motor scooter sales. So it's encouraging sellers within the city of New York to request proof of insurance and New York State registration for people that are purchasing these motor scooters. So, you know, hopefully you guys have had the chance to go through the resolution. I didn't receive any feedback or input from anyone. This is very high level, but we're hoping that by passing this resolution, it'll put some pressure on, you know, the city council and Manhattan Borough President, I think.
So I think there's a little confusion, Solomon, just to kind of reiterate. Carolyn chimed in. I think she did not intend to reply all, but she did a reply all. And it seemed to suggest she was trying to just nullify the effort. So I stopped, but no one responded in terms of, oh, this will come up in the meeting.
Yeah.
So I just kind of left it alone. Because it was an indication she wanted to have an offline chat with you. And something about, we don't do this, there was something.
Right, like it's like outside of our purview.
Yeah, and I just, so no one came back to say, no, we are going to consider it. So there was some sort of a disconnect that seemed to exist.
Yeah. So is this something, do you think we should table it? I know this is something the chair is looking for us to kind of push along.
Right.
But if you didn't get a chance to.
That's correct.
to
I
look
would say,
at this.
I would
motion
suggest
to table.
we take a look at it because
I feel like it might be outside of our purview, like it's a point of sale situation. Merchandising, I mean, I agree with this resolution, but like, it's like talking about selling. Products, like, seems like it's more in the purview of like New York State.
I see it a different way because it's so common sense. I mean,
Yeah.
you can buy a gun with absolutely no background check. You can buy a rifle. And some banks in other states will give you a rifle for opening an account in any city bank. Whereas here, we have an issue with these scooters, you know, I bike everywhere. And I know when I'm getting into a sidewalk and whatnot, but now I'm walking on Riverside. I wanted to ask this to the police, but they're not here. When you're walking on, if you walk on Riverside Park and you go by the river's edge and you walk even on the grass, you have these scooters going all out, especially when you're going up. And sometimes I'm running, and sometimes I'm not listening to anything. Sometimes I'm just running and I'm into my run and they go up and sometimes they even bump you. And like, that cannot be, that cannot be. And I bet you a lot of people don't have insurance, and insurance is the key, right? Because if you have insurance, then if you do something to me, something is gonna get covered. So I do like this resolution, and I mean, I don't know how you guys are running it, I'm new, but I think it's a very good, way to start.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mr.
yeah, sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with Pedro.
Castillo.
Castillo, okay. So I agree with what he said, which is that I think might not be what this board is about, but perhaps it could be modified to encourage like possession of insurance for all scooter people, right? So instead of the sale, it's more so that every person should be aware of the fact that they need to have insurance to ride these scooters and then change the laws. Make it a requirement.
But that changes the focus on it, because when you buy the scooter, you must have the insurance.
Right.
So it's a win-win. Whereas if you buy it with the intention of getting that insurance later on, nobody can really make sure that you get that insurance.
Well, I just don't know if we have jurisdiction over that. It's, I think it's that sort of transaction is maybe at the state level that governs that, and we're at a community.
So
board
it's
level.
not just a resolution, it's not kind of like an
No,
authoritative
no,
legislative
I
thing.
understand.
So, but I think kind of going back, since I didn't really look at it because there was a misunderstanding or I misinterpreted table and we come back. But based on just what you guys are thinking, it sounds like there is some mind share that needs to be given to it. Cause I'm familiar with exactly what he's talking about on Riverside, and I think Victor is on track with this. So I
No,
think,
I understand that it's only a resolution that is not authoritative, but what I'm saying is like, do people in Albany like look at this? Well,
Well, this would go, the way our resolutions go is they'll go up to city council, to Manhattan Borough President,
so then.
and then they kind of have to push it up from there.
It's a starting point.
But if do you wanna kind of take this and potentially modify it to where you think it may?
Potentially, yes, because like, let's say, yes, it could be, let's just say theoretically, it's just a city issue and it's a point of sale. Well, what about all the people that still own these e-scooters, motor scooters, but they don't have insurance? That resolution doesn't really touch that point.
Right, I guess the focus here was, we had the NYPD come in about, because these motor scooters actually have engines in it, right? They have a certain power that they can run in. So I think it was anything above 100 cc's or something like that, and so that's really, those have a lot more speed than like an e-bike. And a lot of these moped scooters like are, they drive on the streets and sometimes even on the highways, and they don't have plates.
And they don't have insurance.
And they don't have insurance. So that's why the focus was more on that. Than like the e-bikes or the stuff with the less power. But what I can do, I agree, I think we should table it. I can share the actual doc with you, and if you wanna give it a stab at kind of changing it a bit, modifying it, and then we can look at it next month, we could do that. So typically what we do is we'll share the doc over Google Docs, and then people can comment on it, and then, that's how we kind of give our input, so that we're not doing it at the meeting.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it as is, but maybe it could be a separate thing or like.
Sure.
Sure that existing motorbike users or motor scooter users have insurance.
Okay, so, motion to table was you motion and you seconded? Okay. So we'll table that. And then we have one more. Just give me a second, let me pull that up. So this was a hot topic. It was the residential parking permit. And this was really in response to the congestion pricing that was supposed to go into effect, but didn't. And, but this was something that the chair had asked for us to kind of look into and consider. Any thoughts on this? I want to say like at the time it was a kind of one of those hot potato things, like they wanted to do something, get something on record, and now it's kind of.
It's not, so this is wildly discussed, if you're not familiar with it. It's a hot topic on Mark Levine is jumping up and down on this, Sean is, Espaillat is. Because essentially northern Manhattan becomes the target for folks coming from New Jersey, New York, or Connecticut, who need a place to park and then jump on to MTA. So if you're in northern Manhattan or in this area going up, and you need parking, you will be very, very sensitive to the issue. So that's where it is. I don't think this is anywhere, I think it's still a very hot topic.
It's not as hot as it once was. That's what I meant to say.
It's somewhere not bubbling, but it's up there.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, it's up there. And in the areas around prior, we're in the historic district. This is a big issue because of City College and the students who come in. They grab the parking spots on Hamilton Terrace, Common Avenue, so the residents jump up and down. If you have a car, it's maddening to find a parking spot. So, it's definitely out there.
There's also people who commute from northern New York and they come and they park. I mean, I knew a friend who used to do that, and she would park on Convent and she would take the 8 and then be on her way.
Right.
And it eliminates all these parking spots for us. And I don't drive, but I know people who drive, and you can't, if you go from 145th to 152nd on Convent, you cannot find a parking spot after, I would say, 5 p.m. Everything is taken. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, my only fear with this is that it might incentivize people to squat. And, you know, I'm from California, and when I went to Berkeley, a lot of places would have something like this where it's like only residents can park here. But there would be an underground market where you could say like, oh, I'll sell you the spot and I'll give you the thing for like $100.
Well, so, just to, could we write in the resolution that we want market rate parking permits? That, you know, that no subsidy, or any.
Well, it's not transferable.
Yeah, not transferable, ensure that it's, I mean, market rate, so that, that you're paying what it's actually worth. Because from my understanding, access to like the curb side on the public right of way, when a private motor vehicle occupies it, nothing else can occupy it, right? Like, once the car is parked on the curb, you're not moving that car unless if the driver.
The alternate side, like.
Well, sure, like, but it requires a driver to get into that car and move that car. So, so so if you're giving somebody priority to that access, right? You're taking it away from something else to be there. And so like that incurs a cost to everybody else in the community. And so the price of the parking permit should reflect that, a market price.
So I think whether or not you guys see it, so in our area, we do have supers that double as, if you've ever seen that episode of Seinfeld,
Right.
they have like a keychain of keys.
Sure.
And you pay them a certain dollar amount and they move your cars around.
Yeah, sure.
So I think what you're suggesting is a dollar number
Right.
that matches, so what would be the penalty, like a penalty, what would be?
No, it wouldn't be a penalty. It's like if you
What
want
stops you from
to, if
doing
you
that?
want to access a parking permit, you have to pay a market rate price to access that parking permit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what he's saying.
But aren't you pricing out people who might not have?
No, wait a second, pricing out who? This is private, like, property. People
So
are,
let's say that, I know a few people in my building who are African American, they've lived in my building since like the eighties, they pay very little for their rent. So they're counting on that, right? So they have a regular job and that parking spot that they might need might cost them more than they can afford. So that is my only worry. But I like the idea of the restrictions of the parking spot, as long as it is in some way connected to an ID that we have, right? Like, I have my driver's license, right? So-
right.
So you connect that parking spot to that driver's license. Obviously, if I'm 10 years old, I cannot go and get a parking spot.
Right.
It usually connects to your residence, but can I,
You know what I
don't
mean?
I haven't looked at this because again, I just, can we table it so we can?
Yes,
blindside it?
so I was going
But I like
to,
the conversation.
yeah, I was going to motion that we table it.
Right.
Because I do wanna, I think the 2 points you made about it not being transferable,
Yeah.
having some sort of market price, market rate for the permit.
Connected to the address, yeah.
Yeah, connected to the address is another thing.
Because we're talking about a privilege, not a right,
It's a perfect.
right? Like it's housing is a right, healthcare is a right. Parking is a privilege. Parking of your private vehicle is a privilege.
Your driver's license is a privilege.
Your driver's license is a privilege, yeah.
It's not guaranteed, yeah.
It's not guaranteed,
That's
so
true.
that's.
I like that one, so, yeah.
So do we, I'm motioning to table, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, okay.
So if
And
it's
by the way,
let's say that-
if you guys all have the emails, just bounce your,
Yeah.
just create a group
Yeah,
and
We're
bounce
all-
your thoughts, yeah, you know, 'cause I think it'll be a couple lines and,
I think it's really more effective.
yeah. Or
So
if you
I
want to set up a-
wanted to ask you a question, right? So in your train of thought, if you have a block, right, and you have 10 parking spots
Yes.
and 8 people pay for that parking, right? And there's 2 open and somebody decides to park there, what would be the penalty for those 2 who use it without having that permit? That would
Well,
be
there
something-
would be guest permits allowed.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So,
Yeah.
so you could purchase a guest permit.
What if you don't have the permit? What would happen?
Then they potentially could get
Oh.
fine.
What, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So, I mean, many cities have this implemented. I mean, he knows about it from being in his time in Berkeley. I've seen it done in Chicago, right?
No, we gotta do something.
San Francisco.
San Francisco, right, Boston has it, because I went to BU, and I'm from, Northern California, yeah.
I know,
San Mateo.
Okay.
I attended the CB7 meeting. And one of the issues they talked about was there are a lot of residents of the city who have a second home somewhere else.
Yes.
A lot of times outside of New York State. And they registered their cars in those other states because it's cheaper. One, it's also cheaper for their insurance rates. But so they live here primarily, but they register their cars elsewhere because they use their second home address. And so this is kind of a way of recouping
Right.
revenue of sorts.
I think there are, even in my building, which is the co-op, we've got a number of those folks who have a second place.
Right.
Their cars are registered out of state.
Right.
So, yeah, this would be an interesting way to pull them back in.
Yeah, they would have to re-register in New York,
Insure in New York.
insure in New York and have, and proof, proof of residence, that this is their
Wow.
full-time.
Myself.
That's an interesting. You too, yeah. Because I was just wondering, I just realized now, how do they vote?
It doesn't have to match.
Yeah,
Your voter
the
registration-
voter registration doesn't have to match where your permanent residence.
Even for your driver's license?
No, it doesn't.
Cause your car, yeah, cause my, okay, never mind. Oh, I gotta think, that's an interesting.
There are
one.
flaws
What
with the
a mess,
system.
Man,
Yes, there's flaws
what a
with the system.
love you can, yeah, it's a messy life.
Okay,
We're good.
do we have, we didn't have any old business. Do we have any new business we wanted to discuss?
Can I ask an old business question?
Sure.
Have we heard anything from, the Grange? It's under,
Yeah,
Patrick's.
Patrick's on it all.
Yeah.
I have not heard
Okay.
anything new from the Grange. Okay,
New business?
was there any new
Yeah.
business you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, it's an observational issue.
Uh-huh.
So what we're seeing on Amsterdam Avenue now, I don't think this is a phenomenon, but it's intriguing. We have a number of people that are living underground in cellars. So in the historic district, it's come to my attention and I've seen it now, I'm shocked at the number of folks that are living in the cellar of a business.
Oh, Chris, sorry, quick. So they're not supers. They are
Or
residents
Li-
living in the cellar?
illegal residents, and it's fair to say that they fall into that migrant world, the e-bikes go down with them, and it's bizarro.
Oh,
It just, to see them come up in the morning, I did mention it to, what's Rose's name, Commander? His title is Rose Commander?
Captain Rose.
Captain Rose? Yeah?
Yeah, he was aware, he's like, it does exist. And it turns out that there are, there are players into this. So they are like the broker, they get a fee for allowing these people to stay underground. The landlord is probably not aware. So I think especially in the historic district, there is some concern on a couple different levels. Number one, to survive underground, you have to question, have they tapped into water, gas, electricity illegally? What's the potential wrapped around that? Number two, I saw the e-bikes go underground and it's the e-bike issue, potential for explosion
Yeah,
Exactly.
and egress.
and egress, right?
Safe egress.
There is no egress and they create rooms apparently.
Right.
So
Wow.
it's something that if we can figure out a framework for looking into. I did speak to, Rose had a perspective and then somebody in his command had another perspective, which is. The permanent building. No, FDNY, he just said, fire department, let them go in. Forget about DOB, forget about the other. So, by the way, if you notice it, bring it into the meetings. And some of the apartment buildings, we also apparently have, and Edwin is not here, but he can also talk about it. We have 20 people living in 2-bedroom apartments. So it's the same condition. So anyway,
Yeah.
the one underground blew me away when I watched the guys go in and out.
I know that I think it was on St. Nicholas Place where they had the e-bike fire in the
Yeah.
apartment building. Supposedly there were 8 people living in that one-bedroom apartment.
Oh,
My
wow.
family has a big problem with that, and my lawyer has sent me these messages about certificate of occupancy.
Mhm.
And that allows you a lot of power, because once it goes to 311, then the city has to own up to that. And landlords, as you were saying, they get change for that. And if you look at it, right, you have 20 people in an apartment, right? The landlord is getting a cut on each of those, and they don't care because they're making money. I wanted to see something a little bit more about that, because it's not only apartments, but if you go to every park in New York City, there's somebody living there. And there's something about our country. I mean, this city is the richest city in the world, and we can't take care of our own people, man. I remember when I came here in 93, and I remember I would go to the other side of St. James, and I could get an apartment for $1,000, 4 or 5 bedrooms. You cannot get anything, that has 4 or 5 bedrooms for any reasonable amount of money. I would like to ask you a question about the park later. I can wait for that after the meeting.
Okay.
So by the way.
Wait for
you
you
have
to
something,
say
Michael?
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as people living in places like that and obviously it has to do with rent, and how
Yeah.
expensive New York is. You know, I just came back from Japan. I found out Tokyo, you can rent out an apartment by yourself studio, $700, right? That's a city of 30 million people.
Mm.
How do they do it? You have surplus housing, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have a lot of it. And I've been thinking about it since coming back. Obviously, maybe this is like a housing issue, but we should really be encouraging housing, even if it's freaking luxury housing, right? Like, there needs to be more housing. And if you have a surplus, eventually rents can come down, but that's the problem with Manhattan especially.
So, but I think we have to think about is when we have folks that are illegally housed. The issues wrapped around like what we saw in Soho, where they tapped the gas line that created an explosion. It was an illegal tapping of gas. That would be the concern, right?
Parking one.
Right, so when they're underground and they tap hot water, cold water and gas or electricity, is it the potential for a fire and explosion or something like that catastrophic that impacts the entire building above?
Mhm.
The liability is to the landlord. DOB is quick to issue a vacate order, but the enforcement part is the tricky.
HPD is open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So having said all that, just something to, if you see it, yeah, I would put it on the new business radar.
Yeah, and we'll see if we can
Yeah.
get someone from the fire department.
Yeah.
I'll be conscious of it, Chris. I mean, I was just on Amsterdam the other day walking, and it didn't even occur to me that that would be happening. But you know, housing is an issue. Period. I mean, it's an issue all over the city, but you know, we're focused up here, and it's terrible. The conditions that people have to be subjected to put a roof over their head. I mean, housing, as Felipe said, should be a right that we all can have so that we can thrive as human beings. So,
Right. So the next time you step over those steel, it's called like a bulkhead, whatever that thing is on the ground when you pass like the retail place that they normally take the delivery into.
yes,
Just imagine there are people underneath there and what you see on the surface and what's underground are two different things.
wow.
It's, yeah.
Okay,
All right.
I'm going to motion to adjourn at 8:14. Can I get a second?
Second. Congratulations, that was the,
Yeah, great, that's fine.
Thank you.
Good
Okay,
meeting.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. And have a good night.
Thank you all. Get home safe.
All right, you too. Oh, you're home already.
I am
Yes,
home
have a good
already,
night.
All right.
but I'll still
Take
be
care.
working. All right.
Good
night, everyone.
All right, bye-bye.